Hello and welcome, my name is Nilaus. This is Oxygen Not Included. We have just started a new series on Twitch, and this is sort of the first recap of this. I had actually intended to do the recap by taking autosaves every 10 cycles and then just showing you how it worked, but unfortunately that did not work. The reason why it did not work is because the autosave was set to one cycle, so it only saves the last 10. Alas, that means we don't have it. However, what I want to show to you in this episode is how we go from the very initial thing, just having this one and 3 dupes, and the sequence that I do, because now I've restarted quite a few times, so I think it's I think I have some experience on how to get started in the right sequence. So we're just gonna walk through the way that it should be done, according to me at least, how to get started. So when you start, the first thing you do is always build the outhouse. Otherwise, within one cycle they start peeing on the floor, and then you have polluted water everywhere. This is it. Oh, by the way, I'm starting on the Verdante. That means there are a lot of woods and less other things. The biome as well. It's pretty good starting area we have here, but we are only now starting to see something that's cold down here. And I don't even know why this is cold, but it is cold. So starting off a good temperature, not something we need to worry about anytime soon, but only when we get the power. So first thing, you set up the outhouses, set up the wash basins. The wash basins are not going to work because you don't have any water to fill in, so that's going to be the next thing. You find the nearest water, don't have a lot left, and you hook that up. So now at least we have the sanitation in order. The outhouses plus wash basins with water coming in. Next thing I always do is setting up the cots so they have something to sleep. That's just a nice friendly thing to do, so we make sure that they have a nice friendly place to go to sleep here. So that's the next thing, because then they're going to be less complaining. At this point we don't really need to focus on food, because, and I don't know if this is only this spawn or it's general, there are these hexalent plants that are absolutely phenomenal. Let's see if I can figure out hexalent fruit. There's 6,400 calories from one of these. They can't be reproduced, they can't do anything, but you can pick them up. It's basically just nutrient bars lying around, and they are pretty common in the starting biome. I think I don't have a lot left, but they are really serving me. Look at this here. I still have hexalent fruit is the majority of our food, so you do not need to worry about food anytime soon. So once we have somewhere they can pee and some water inbound, some bread to stay, the next thing I do is build like the basic setup for power, build a generator, a normal battery, and the research station. Once we have that, we can start the research and we can move on. So that's basically just the very beginning, the first couple of cycles. Now we need to move on. At this point I built the meal lice farm. I always build a meal lice farm. I don't really think that it's needed if you have the hexalent, because the hexalent can last you so long that you might even be able to skip this level. This I don't really know, but I really like the meal lice. They're very easy to deal with, so I'm always doing that. So once we have this, we can start moving a bit out and saying, all right, now what is the next thing we want to do? Now on this planet here, I always expand out. This arbor trees are an amazing resource. So, but you want to keep as many wild as you like. I don't keep as many as possible. The reason why is because I'm very fanatical about my grid. 16 tiles and then 4 tiles high. Very fanatical about it, and that means I'll keep them if they fit. I'm keeping if they don't interrupt too much, but if they do, then I'm going to do something else. So that's kind of the next thing we want to do. Then what I'm building is a power supply. I don't think that was. I think I actually built the storage tanks because I wanted to start cleaning things up. I didn't really do that good of a job on the cleaning part, and at this point you don't really need so much power, but you do need some oxygen diffuser so you can start building the oxygen. There's quite a lot of oxygen in the start. You can just pop these small locations out here and get the oxygen from that. I'm using the mod to give a better, I think it's called gas overlay, to get a better overview of the gases. Very, very nice. Highly recommended. And okay, so at this point then we're starting to figure out, okay, so we got a gas diffuser. Well, actually the gas diffuser didn't do anything because we didn't have any algae until we breached this slime lung. So I had to work on an electrolyzer, and that meant I had to go down to this little water pond to pump water and make that into our electrolyzer. So this is also why there's so much hydrogen up here. And let me just check something. There we go. Okay, so sorry. And okay, so what is the next thing? The next thing was actually getting some safe place for our food storage, because right now initially it's just stored here, but then it will it degrade. Actually, the hexalant doesn't seem to degrade hexalant fruit, but I want this, and this is where I built like a little repo down here and just put it in here. Make the gas vent came later, but it's important that you keep this pressurized with carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide will always go at the bottom, so this way when they open, even though the surroundings would be full of oxygen, it wouldn't leak in, and even if it leaks in, like you can see these, they will keep up at the top, and maybe they'll even go up. Or if they go in, they might just take a little sip of this and it'll disappear. Also built my cooking station. Didn't really need it a lot yet, but I have it, and it's easy access to the food. Also, that means we can get from the food to the eating area quite easily. Also a very important thing, I have a bit of oxygen in here, but we definitely have oxygen issue, or basically we have carbon dioxide issues. So once we start getting some of these things, like here that takes a bit more energy, it might be time for us to start looking at what just a bit better production than using the manual generator. And this is what the next thing is. This is the wood burner, very efficient, but it generates a ton of carbon dioxide, which is the reason why. The thing is, I don't want to build anything beyond this until I have the smart battery. The smart battery requires the rock crusher to crush some. I don't know why you're crushing it, but you make it from aluminium ore to aluminium, and that's needed for the batteries, because the batteries will prevent a lot of wasted power. See, now they're idle because the batteries are full. And let's see. Let's have a look at this one, how much carbon dioxide it generates. Carbon dioxide, 170 grams per second. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's definitely something. So once we have this, we are okay with power. That's 300 plus another 600 here, so that's 900. That's pretty good for our normal grid, just to get the ball rolling and get like a pump here and there and that kind of thing, which is really where we are at this point. Okay, so after that, it's time to start improving some things. One of the things that I want to improve is our toilet. Toilet is built really simple. What I've done here, first I use this one to just seed it with some water. Then what I have here is like a single string. They're all getting the water in here. The water comes out. It goes into this branch. These branches are very important to know how it works, because this liquid bridge, if there's a liquid bridge and a normal pipe, it'll always go through the liquid bridge first. When it goes to the liquid bridge, it goes up into water sieve and gets cleaned and goes back into the cycle. However, when they wash their hands, the input-output water is the same, but when they go to the toilet, there is more water coming out than going in. And that means this one will eventually, which hasn't happened yet, but it's almost happening, will eventually fill up, and once it fills up, only then will the overflow go out and drip into our big storage here. I'm also always building like a giant storage for this, and putting deodorizers everywhere so that this just evaporates. Keep normal water out of this, because the normal water will be putting a layer on top. The layer on top will prevent any evaporation, but you really want to make sure that you have the nice evaporation in here so that you can get a bit of free oxygen from this as well. So with that setup, that's really convenient. And some of the next things we started to do was actually starting to pump some carbon dioxide in to saturate this field, our food storage, so that now there's no more oxygen here. It has either gone up here. So this, oops, is that chlorine? How the hell did we get chlorine into the base? I have no clue how that happened. But once it's in, it just never goes out again. Anyway, so what I did was actually I started pumping some carbon dioxide into some gas reservoirs, and you can see here how big of a part of the base is full of carbon dioxide, and it's actually very high pressure. So right now we are getting to the phase where carbon dioxide is going to be a massive issue. It's simply just overtaking everything, and I can only solve it really. I can either just carbon skim it away, which is a bit wasteful because I lose a lot of the carbon dioxide that is so precious. The alternative is I can what I can do is let's see, I can put in boxes, and the real long-term solution is of course slicksters, but man, is that far away from us at this point, if it even happens on this world. We are also getting a lot of carbon dioxide, hydrogen from this. I always just let it float upwards. Once it's up there, I'm gonna take this. This is not powered because I haven't built it yet. So the last thing we built, which I think is one of my better designs, is this. You take 4 trees. 4 trees will feed 4 ethanol distiller with lumber coming in, and 4 ethanol distiller will each produce 500 ethanol per second. That goes in here. This takes 2,000 combustible liquid, and that's ethanol per second. So this one will produce 2 kilowatts. These are going to consume 1 kilowatt, and there's some pea water coming out of it that I just pick up, which is being picked up by this one. So this system here is self-reliant and outputting. What is this? These are also making polluted dirt. That's actually rather nice to have polluted dirt. And getting 1,000 watts of power outbound to the base. I haven't hooked it up, but I now have it built, so we can actually start using that for the base. So that's basically how far we got in this episode. The first 4 hours of streaming. I'm really happy with how far we got, what the base looks like, where we are. Temperature is kind of starting to become a problem. I have 1 resource that I'm going to use. Carbon dioxide is a rather big problem that we need to actively do something about. It's probably going to be one of the top priorities for the next stream, so be sure to check that out. We are also going to need some more room to expand. I'm trying to get my power supply to stay over here so I can link it all together into one grid, and with a heavy watt wire. I think that's the right way to do it in the long term, so let's give that a shot. You can see this one is actually not going to get done because of that can't be done. Ha, sad. Yeah, they've actually completed all the commands while I've been busy here. That means we can also do something like this. Aha! Okay, you can't even do that because... Oh, that sucks. Why did I do that? There's no room for any more. Okay, see, now they all switch to green because I can apparently put one thing into one thing somewhere. Okay, so that's basically the state of the nation right now, the asteroid. I'm going to be streaming this base 2 times a week, so I hope you'll enjoy. I will make these kind of recaps that we focus on some of the things. They will have the form of light tutorials. If you find something that you're saying, like, whoa, this did not make any sense, can you just walk through this again? Please let me know in the comments, and I can make like dedicated tutorials about it. I'd love to do tutorials. There are a lot of good tutorials out there on YouTube, so instead of me just doing like random things, I'd really like to know sort of what specific things. I'm going to do something different from most other YouTubers, and that is I'm not going to abuse like the gas pressure things and those kind of things. It's because that's like super compressing liquids and that kind of thing. I'm not going to use those. And if I build something in a tutorial, I'm not going to build it in creative mode. I'm going to build it in the base because I feel that's really how it should be done. Anyway, I think that's going to be enough for us to wrap up this episode. So be sure to check out my stream, my Twitch stream. It's currently scheduled to Wednesday and Friday, but it might also be Monday and Wednesday. But it could be Monday or Friday. I don't know. It's going to be something, right? Wednesdays. Yeah, I don't know. Please keep an eye on my schedule on Twitch when the next stream is up. Also, if you want to watch the VOD, it's available in the link in the description on my secondary channel, Nilaus TV. You can search for that as well. So thank you very much for watching, and see you around. And until next time, stay effective.